Have a good night, brother. Coming to you live from the TireRack.com studios. We are joined now by Daniel Kelly, former NFL scout and author, First Round Mock. Make sure you follow him on Twitter. What's up, Daniel? How you doing?
Hey, I'm doing really well, Rob and Kelvin. Thank you so much for having me on the show tonight.
No doubt. Not a problem. We can start it off. Somebody we talked about earlier. I said, man, sometimes these NFL teams, these scouts, these GMs, they fall in love. Kind of like when a woman knows a man is bad, has a bunch of red flags, where they say, I can fix him. I want to fix her up her. They do that sometimes with these quarterbacks, Daniel. And is that what happened with Anthony Richardson? Only 13 starts. Wasn't necessarily your traditional quarterback. Wasn't that great with the stats, but they fell in love with the physical stats. Is that what happened there?
I'm not sure what happened. I love the analogy. Because when I looked at Anthony Richardson on game film and studied all his plays with the Florida Gators, to me on film, he looked like a glorified option quarterback who had difficulty reading college-level defensive pass coverage schemes. This guy was a run-first, pass-second, raw prospect. Everything he did at Florida was predicated upon the play action, fake. Barely complete half his passes at Florida the last year, 53.8%, 54.7% overall. Could barely hit the broadside of a barn. And I also labeled him, and this is something I felt like a lot of people missed on, as a pre-draft high injury risk because he was a run guy. And the NFL is just not that kind to running quarterbacks. I've never, to your point, remotely understood the pick. This is one of the biggest reaches to me in NFL draft history. There was just absolutely nothing whatsoever on his game film at Florida that remotely suggested he should go first round. And then, you look at what's happened this offseason, or the last season with the, throwing shoulder surgery, that just compounds the problems. He dropped from 59.5% completion percentage in his rookie season all the way down, plummeted to 44.4% overall this season. Of course, last week it was 31.3%. It just gets worse and worse. But, here's the thing. Here's the beauty of it. And this is the beauty of your research pre-draft and looking at pre-draft intel. This guy's never been a natural passer. This isn't an epiphany. This is one of the easiest evaluations I've ever done. This was a guy in high school. In high school, he completed 53.2% of his passes. In college, 54.7%. In the NFL, he's at 50.2% right now. So this has never been a natural passer. And I've never understood all the hype and the comparisons to Josh Allen and Andrew Luck and Peyton Manning. It just is absurd to me. I've never understood, why we're even in this situation. I put a 5th-round grade on a pre-draft, labeled him as a pre-draft bust if he won the first 4 rounds.
Well, Richardson had now last year he had some moments. So I hear what you're saying and all that. I don't think that the Colts were feeling that way last year about him, were they?
I couldn't answer for what they were looking at.
No, but I'm saying last year. I mean, I don't think that.
You see the talent every now and then. He can throw it 80 yards on his knees.
I'm asking you, when you watched him last year, were you surprised he had any success in the NFL, I guess is my question.
Yeah, I was surprised. I was. His mechanics are extremely inconsistent. There's 2 different versions of his mechanics on film with the Colts, getting past the Florida part. There's the part where he's just kind of, plays kind of loose. His mechanics are a lot better. He throws with a wider base. He follows through more with an equally distributed, using his legs and his upper body to pass the ball. That's the better version of Anthony Richardson. Then there's these moments where he sits back there, he tenses up, and all of a sudden he just becomes almost all upper body. And that's when the ball placement just starts flying downfield all over the place. So, yeah, I was surprised he even had the success that he had. To me, it was just like, I didn't understand what they were doing.
All right, let's go with Caleb Williams. You were down on Caleb Williams, got off to a slow start. You were probably feeling good about yourself, and then he started playing really well. I think he had 3 games in a row of 300 yards. No Bears rookie has ever done that, obviously. They've had a hard time with quarterbacks. What do you think of Caleb and his progression and what you've seen so far?
Well, that's a good question. I'm still in the same spot with Caleb Williams as I was pre-draft. I had a 4th-round grade going into the draft process. Labeled him as a surefire 100% bust if you won the first round. I haven't moved off of that. And
you still going to hold on to a 100% bust? Come on. Now wait a minute. No, I just can't. I need you, Daniel, to own up that you got this one wrong, okay? Because he's not a 100% bust. Really? Have you seen him? A 100% bust?
I've seen him. I've seen him.
And you still think he's a 100% bust?
Yes, I've seen him have success against two of the worst teams in the NFL, against the Carolina Panthers and Jacksonville Jaguars, who were both one-win teams at the time they played them. I saw him with all the short dink and dunk passes that were, the 73% completion percentage against the Rams within that game.
Who are you supposed to play? Who are you supposed to play against? Did you, when you look at Tom Brady in the AFC least, and he beat up on the Jets and the Bills and the Miami Dolphins for 15 years, did you downgrade him because he played terrible, bad competition or not?
I didn't evaluate him, in all fairness.
But you get my point. All I'm saying is you can only play who's on the schedule, right? If he doesn't play well against them, then he's really bad.
Absolutely you can't. You're right about you can only play the schedule. But here's the thing. I mean, compared to his peers right now, he's of all the starting first-round quarterbacks right now that are starting, he's the worst amongst the three, with Jay Daniels, Bo Nix, and with him, with the QBR being at number 24. Nix is at number 20, and Jay Daniels is at number 5. He's in that lower echelon of QBR compared to his peers overall in the NFL, too. And to me, it just seems like he's trying to make the league adapt to him, opposed to trying to adapt to the league. And the scary part is the Bears' schedule with Williams down the stretch is brutal. I'd be surprised if they win another 3, maybe 4 games total this season.
I want to be with you on this one, but Caleb Williams, I still see the talent. I still see the ability there. And he's at an organization that has been horrific when it comes to the quarterback. So I think it's only up to me. It's only up from here when it comes to him. I want to ask you about this. We're being joined by Daniel Kelly, former NFL scout, author. I look at a guy like Bryce Young who may have to start again, and the Panthers don't know what they're doing. This is a question. Do you think we'll get to where we saw with Eli Manning and John Elway back in the day where, hey, I'm not going to this team, and if you draft me, I ain't going to play? Because I think the Bryce Young experiment might be a situation where a team, look, they're a horrible organization, and if I'm whoever the next it guy is, in this case, Caleb Williams this year, Bryce Young a couple years ago, I'm not going to play for Team X. Do you think we'll start to see that again from more of these star-studded young quarterbacks saying, hey, man, I don't want to go to a horrible organization?
Yeah, that's a great point. Absolutely, I do. I absolutely think we're going to see more of that going forward. I think we're starting to see little hints of that with Deion Sanders and Shedeur Sanders and him kind of hinting, where he might want his son to play in that. I think that's absolutely going to happen as we go forward because, this is not a recipe for success for a lot of these young quarterbacks to go into, situations that are the worst situations in the league with sky-high expectations. And there's a real learning curve because the differences between college football and the NFL are profound. I mean, the speed of the game is higher. The complexity is much different towards the NFL versus the college football. Even the size of the ball is different, which Kenny Pickett found out the hard way. So I think there is going to be some of that, to your point.
All right, he is Daniel Kelly. We appreciate you, man. Thank you for joining us. NFL, of course, former NFL scout, author. Make sure you give him a follow at First Round Mock. Thank you for your time.
Yep, appreciate it.
Hey, thank you, guys. I appreciate it as always. Great being on. Thank you.
Yep.